The light switch clicks and nothing answers. The fridge stops its decades-long hum. You are plunged into a darkness so complete that your own home becomes an alien cave. Your muscle memory reaches for the candle and the matches. That single action, that tiny beautiful flame you light to calm your children, just activated the first trap in the house that is now actively trying to kill you. Most people barricade the door and scan the street for threats. They die from the inside out. Subscribe so you never miss this. Stay for number 10. The item you bought for protection that becomes a statistical danger to your own family when the visual context for using it completely disappears. Item 1. Candles and improvised oil lamps. You reach for the candle. It is the universal human response to darkness. An open flame on a nightstand is a vertical ignition source in a room full of curtains, bedding, and paper. A candle tips over. The wax pool spills. The synthetic carpet melts and flows like napalm. An improvised oil lamp in a glass jar is worse. The jar overheats. The glass cracks. A puddle of burning lamp oil races across the countertop. Most people place a candle on a wobbly stack of books and call it safe. You will not. Every open flame in a blackout goes inside a deep metal pot, a ceramic sink, or a baking tray with high sides. If it tips into steel. The candle is a controlled burn. Treat it like a campfire you invited indoors. Item 2. The staircase and scattered floor clutter. Your staircase hasn't moved in decades, but zero ambient light strips your depth perception completely. A single backpack on the landing, a loose rug, a child's toy on the third step. These are compound fracture triggers. A fall downstairs in the dark is not a stumble. It snaps bones and causes intracranial bleeding with no ambulance coming. You will sweep the stairs and main walking paths now and enforce a zero clutter rule. Place a tactile marker at the top and bottom. A strip of duct tape, a textured mat. Your foot feels the warning before your body commits to the fall. The staircase is a vertical kill zone when the nightlights die. Item 3. The gas stove used as a heater. The house goes cold. The furnace fans are dead. The kitchen stove whispers a fatal suggestion. Crack the oven. Open the burners. You sit beside it wrapped in blankets, and the drowsiness feels like relief. It is hypoxia. A gas stove in a sealed room consumes oxygen and produces carbon monoxide. You feel warm, then sleepy, then unconscious. You do not wake up. Entire families have been found seated around an open oven, silent and blue. A gas stove cooks food with ventilation. It does not heat a sealed room. If you must use it, crack opposing windows. The real move is an indoor-safe propane heater with a low oxygen shutoff or simply more blankets and body heat. The flame does not care about your intentions. Item 4. Charcoal grills and camp stoves indoors. You drag the patio grill into the living room and crack a window. The warmth feels like victory. The carbon monoxide feels like nothing at all. It binds to hemoglobin 240 times more tightly than oxygen. It gives no cough, no warning. A charcoal chimney smolders for hours. Even with a window cracked, concentration builds in still air. Families have been found around a cooling grill. Their last decision a fatal chemistry lesson they never felt. You will never burn combustion heat sources designed for outdoor use inside a confined space. Not the grill, not the camp stove. The garage with the door cracked is not indoors. It is a trap with extra steps. Item 5. Extension cords, daisy chained to generators. The generator fires up outside. You run an orange cord through the window. Then another daisy chain to reach the fridge. Then a third snaked under the rug for a space heater. What you have built is a resistance heater inside your walls. A thin gauge cord carrying a heavy load heats like a toaster filament. Under a rug, it cannot dissipate heat. The plastic melts. The copper arcs. The wall insulation ignites inside the stud bay. You will use a single, heavy gauge, outdoor rated appliance cord of the shortest possible length. No daisy chains, no rugs, no coils. The generator cord is a power artery that, if abused, burns the house down while the generator hums obliviously outside. Item 6. The bathtub water reservoir. You fill the tub before the pressure drops. Sensible. Now you have 40 gallons of emergency water. But the bathroom door is open. A toddler, disoriented, wanders in. In absolute blackness, the still surface of a full bathtub is an invisible void. Drowning in a domestic bathtub during a blackout is a documented recurring tragedy. Then, the secondary threat. Stagnant water grows Pseudomonas and coliform. You drink it a week later. and your gut empties violently with no medical help. You will close and lock the bathroom door. You will cover the tub with a rigid board. You will treat the water with a few drops of unscented bleach. A bathtub reservoir is an asset that becomes a drowning pool and a biohazard simultaneously. Item 7. Lithium-ion battery packs. Asterisk, asterisk. You bought the big portable power station, the pocket bank, the rechargeable lantern. A failing lithium cell is a sleeping chemical fire. Over-discharge it and it swells. One drop in the dark, and the cell enters thermal runaway. It spits white hydrogen fluoride gas that scars your lungs. Then the molten metal ignites at over 1,000 degrees, self-oxidizing. Water smothers nothing. It burns until the lithium consumes itself. Most people stack power banks on a pile of blankets. You will place every lithium device on a ceramic tile, a metal tray, or inside an ammo can with the seal removed. The battery that saves your phone can also burn your house down. It keeps no allegiance, only chemistry. Item 8. The manual can opener. You open a can of beans and toss the lid into the sink. The lid sinks into murky dishwater. Hours later, you reach into that water blind. Your fingers find the jagged razor-sharp disc. In a blackout, a deep palmar, laceration across the flexor tendons, is a surgical emergency. The hand bleeds, tendons retract. Grip disappears. You cannot open another can, fire a weapon, or carry a child. You will designate a single hard plastic container as the sharps bin. Lids, broken glass, anything that cuts. It gets dropped in immediately, far from where hands fumble for food. The can opener is survival. The lid it leaves behind is a scalpel hidden in the water. Item 9. Propane tanks and aerosol cans on cold nights. The house freezes. You bring the propane tank inside to keep it warm. This is a fatal logic chain. The cold tank hits the warm room. Liquid propane expands. Pressure skyrockets. The relief valve does its job. It vents raw propane gas into your living room. An invisible, explosive cloud pools at floor level, waiting for the furnace, the generator spark, or the candle. Aerosol cans on a cold sill brought near a heat source do the same. Most people try to keep fuel warm without understanding the pressure differential. Leave propane tanks outside, period. The tank does not need warmth. It needs stable, cold, outdoor equilibrium. Item 10. The firearm without a light. You own it for exactly this moment. The bump in the dark, the shattering glass. You press into the hallway, finger indexed. The darkness is total. Your brain fabricates threats from every creak. A shadow moves. You fire. The muzzle flash strobes the hallway, and you see the face of your teenage child who got up to find a candle. This is a documented recurring fatality in prolonged blackouts. A firearm without a dedicated light is a liability that endangers your family more than any intruder. You will marry a light to the firearm or keep a handheld next to it and drill the technique. A gun in the dark is not security. It is a blind hammer swinging at sounds. Until you can see the target, the trigger does not move. Here is the reality the darkness does not want you to see. The blackout kills by turning the familiar into a trap. The candle becomes a house fire. The staircase becomes a cliff. The stove becomes a silent executioner. The generator cord becomes an electrical fire. The bathtub becomes a drowning pool. The lithium battery becomes a chemical inferno. The can lid becomes a scalpel. The propane tank becomes a gas bomb. And the firearm becomes a blind hammer in a house full of your family. You will audit every item on this list tonight with a red headlamp. Survival rewards the person who mapped the traps before the lights went out. Now, drop a comment. Close your eyes. How many steps from your bed to your front door in the absolute dark? And what is the first object you would trip over? Write the number and the object. Then go walk it and see if you were right. In the next video, we are covering the one room most people abandon during a blackout that actually has the highest survival density. The bathroom. How to turn it into a blackout command center in under 10 minutes. I'll see you there.